question for the audience now. And this is very pertinent because we are in Delhi right now experiencing this precise thing I'm going to speak about. You all know about the Delhi pollution. It's a thing. What percentage of the Delhi pollution is estimated to be because of stubble burning? Approximate percentage. Shout outs. Give me a percentage. 25. What percentage approximately? 5? 20%? Anyone? Sir? Sorry? 60%? You're like, unki galti hai. Wahi hai zimmedar. Okay, ma'am? Less than 5. Anyone else? It's not an examination, not a performance appraisal, nothing gets affected. Nobody? Oh, nobody's right. Oh, it's like, do you know the answer? Oh, okay. Perfect. Anyone else? Well, I'm not an expert here. I checked with a few experts, and it varies every year. The last year that it was recorded, which was in 2021, the percentage was close to 26%. So, Amit, you're the closest. It is a sizable, not a trivial number, and of course, we all have experienced that. But the next innovation is doing something about it, which caught my attention, and I loved it for that. So please, may we have the AV for 𝗖𝗵𝗲 ecosystems. Fantastic. May we please have on stage 𝗵𝗵. Cover up. Are you carrying a business card with you? Yes. Awesome. I want to see it. So 𝗵𝗵 came up to me, and this is 𝗵𝗵's business card. It's exactly the material that they are able to make from stubble. It is super impressive. And I love the fact that you carry your identity on your product itself.
So identity of me and identity of my product in a single piece.
Exactly. I love that, 𝗵𝗵. 𝗵𝗵, so you're doing something which is very close to at least all of us sitting in Delhi, and clearly it is a big problem to be solved. What is it that you figured that most people haven't for the last several decades? Like, what is it that you know that they don't?
So Ankur, to answer to that question, I would like to quote a classmate of mine back from school days. And one thing that he said was that the fool did not know it was impossible, so he did it anyway. The fool did not know it was impossible, so he did it anyway. And I have been this fool ever since my childhood days, could not do a lot academically. But one thing that imparted me was immense capability to take risks. So when I started 𝗖𝗵𝗲, I had 30-35 lakhs in my savings. I used all of it just based on the idea that can something be done to solve the problem of crop stubble waste burning. Had no clue that this would transform into a product. It was just a hope. And to the point that I sold off my car, I started being on bike. I was left with just 16 rupees in bank. That was how down I came. So I think, all it takes is the capability to see the faith. So we are a team of, actually, the whole team is built like that we are a team of underdogs who have just two skill sets.
Wow.
First is relentless or perseverance, hope. And second is that the love for solving the problems. Yeah. And I think, back to your answering your question, could anyone else have done it, or what have they not figured out? Maybe it's nothing. Yeah. Maybe it was always simple. Exactly. Maybe all it needed was a fool to be very optimistic. Yeah.
And I love the irrational optimism. That's what paved the way for this. It's so impressive. I also, this was one part of 𝗵𝗵's story which I loved. He very candidly and beautifully admitted that education in many ways failed him. because you in your own acknowledgement said that I was never a good student, I struggled my way through and so on, and now he's doing something which is deep biotech. And he was in fact thinking, would people accept me? Because I don't come from the brands, I don't have a double I instead of my institute name, I don't have that education qualification and so on. And I thought that that was actually your strength as against your weakness, because in some way that fool in you
Yes.
just made it happen.
Yes.
That was beautiful, man. Awesome. Thank you so much, Arpit. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Awesome. To the next one, and this is one of my favorite, because this is something that I did not know of. I'm illiterate in so many things in life, but this one I'm so glad I got to know about. हम सबको पता है कि नमक टूथपेस्ट में पाया जाता है, right? टूथपेस्ट में नमक है. But there is something else in the toothpaste, or in fact in a lot of products that we consume and use, that I had no idea about. So a wild guess. Something unexpected that you find in your toothpaste. Clearly it's edible, but I'm saying it's unexpected. What do you think it is? Something that you find in your toothpaste. Charcoal, but it's kind of, yeah, male products, so I don't know why they've just gone all charcoal. Like, tum log koile ke saman hi ho raha hai. This is all you'll get. But anything else? Sorry? Calcium, okay. Still expected? Sir?
Sorbitol, which comes from maize derivative.
Okay, very technical, but I think the answer is no. It could very well be right, because I wouldn't even know. Anyone else? Something that you find in toothpaste that you wouldn't expect. Something that comes from oceans. Seaweed. How many of you knew this? How many of you knew this? I did not. I did not know. And this is not, Neha, if I'm not wrong, this isn't some toothpaste. This is almost all toothpaste. And that is what the next innovation is. Maybe please have the AV for 𝗖𝗄𝗀. May we please have Neha on stage. I love this. That packaging is actually seaweed converted into something that looks so plastic-like. One thing that I noticed about your profile, Neha, is that you've worked several years at Google, which is a really large tech giant. And it's said, which may not be always true, that large companies in some way choke innovation out of you because they just want you to be regimented, clinical. But you somehow did not let that innovative side let go of you. So my question is, what is it that you learned in that really large company that set you up for success at 𝗖𝗄𝗀?
So I think the Google that we know right now is a multi-billion giant with several great products. But the kid who, and the kid being me, who grew up in 80s and 90s, I knew of a different Google. Mm-hmm. A Google that was a single page with a clean search bar. Yeah. It solved a very real-world problem in the simplest way. And I think that's what we're trying to imbibe at 𝗖𝗄𝗀.
Beautiful.
We're trying to solve a real-world problem of ocean litter, plastics all over choking our planet in the simplest way. We take seaweed and we convert it into packaging that can disappear in any environment. If it enters land or landfill, it becomes the soil. If it enters the ocean, it becomes water. And if it enters your belly, it passes as food.
It's edible.
It's edible as well.
Unbelievable.
So with us, you don't have to search for the questions or the answers. We already have the answer.
Fantastic. I love that inspiration. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Neha. Thank you. Please. Imagine packaging that is edible. Not that I would necessarily have an entertainment around that. Okay. This is another question for all of you. How long do you think it takes a sanitary napkin to decompose? How long do you think it takes a sanitary napkin to decompose? Anyone? Shout out the answer. In years. Say that again. 500 years. Anyone else? More than? 3,000? Okay. Has never happened. It's like the first sanitary napkin is still alive. Could very well be the case. I don't even know. Anyone else? Any numbers? 100. Anyone else from the back? The backbenchers? Exam, huh? No one has figured that out. Anyone else? How many years? 100? It takes anywhere between 500 to 800 years for a single sanitary napkin to decompose. 500 to 800 years. And that's surely because of the amount of plastic that there is in that sanitary pad. So the next innovation is all about solving for that problem, and may we please have the AV for pad care. We have the mic as well. Awesome. Please come up on stage. I love getting to know their stories, and one thing that 𝗙់•𝗀 mentioned right at the outset when he was introducing himself was, I'm a village boy. And I love how you proudly held that stamp on your heart. But I want to ask you, 𝗙់•𝗀, what about being a village boy? Not that it's, of course, anything made you ready for the success that you've had with pad care? What did it teach you that you perhaps think people in urban India do not get to experience as much?
So Ankur, I feel really proud and I'm lucky because I'm born and brought up in a village called 𝗂𝗓, which is one of the coastal area of Maharashtra, and having population around 5,000 people. And I've spent almost 18 years there since my childhood. Wow. So basically, these are the following learnings that I have leveraged during my success of the pad care. We have developed world's first sanitary napkin disposal and recycling system. The first thing that what I learned that helped me, it is understanding the empathy, where my parents nurture me to understand the consumer and the community problems and in the depth and interact with them. That helped me and pushed me to interact with more than 10,000 females in Pune to understand their issues in terms of menstrual hygiene disposal from hygiene perspective as well as privacy perspective. The second is more about thinking from the first principle, right? In the coastal area where have coast is near to me, where I always spend good amount of time. Basically, there are number of solutions are available in nature. We have to just find out right application for that. In my case, the separation of this plastic and cellulose was inspired from the tides, where that is something our inspiration got, and we have developed this separation of cellulose and the plastic, and we're getting more than 99% material recovery. And third is more about risk-taking action and capabilities. In Maharashtra, there is a monsoon, the farmers depending on the monsoon. Barish ho ya na ho, kheti to kar lenge with the hope thing, right? With that, after my graduation in 2017, I started 𝗙់Labs as 3 months project, and it's been 4 years in this industry, serving more than 1 million women on day-to-day basis, recycling 4 metric tons of sanitary napkins and consuming 150 metric tons of carbon equivalent every year. So this we are learning since my childhood helped me to develop this disruptive technology around sanitary napkin disposal and recycling.
I love this story. I love this story. Thank you so much, Ajinkya. Thanks a lot. All the best. And I wish you greater and greater success. All right, next up. And this is something that we all would know of. We all have plywood in some shape and form in our household. And it has its inadequacies. It's susceptible to water absorption. It's susceptible to acid burning. It's susceptible to termites, all of which are very live, vivid problems that our country faces. And if there was something that could replace plywood but not have all of these inadequacies, that's precisely what is being attempted, and successfully so, with the next innovation. So may we please have the audiovisual for Rikron panels. May we please have Radhika up on stage. Awesome. Good to have you on stage, Radhika.
Thank you.
As I was getting to know Radhika, she mentioned something which is deeply personal, but I found it very touching that I want to, with your permission, share with the crowd. Radhika mentioned she had a difficult pregnancy and an even harder post-recovery. But what you said beautifully that caught my attention was that it actually helped you become a better entrepreneur. And I would love for you to share how so with all of us.
Sure. I think being a first-generation entrepreneur is tough. Being a new mother is tougher. And the combination of the two is uniquely challenging, and no one quite tells you how to navigate it. As it so happens, it's my son's first birthday today.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. So it's his first birthday today, and as you all know, the last 12 months for me have been particularly difficult, especially with respect to postpartum. But as he turns 1, I'm here sharing the stage with you in front of an esteemed audience like yourselves, and that is truly encouraging and appreciative. Ricron panels is not just about recycling plastic waste and converting it into building materials. It's about truly bringing value to a sector where a solution did not exist. Ricron panels has been largely accepted by villages, in metros, even in export markets. We started with 50 tons a month. We're now doing 700 tons a month, and hopefully we will do 7,000 tons a month by 2025. So it was about changing perspective. It was not about viewing my glass as half empty or half full. It was about being grateful for having a glass in the first place.
Fantastic. It's so precious. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
congratulations again. Thank you. Great. Moving on to the next innovation. Thank you for joining us, Anubhav. Pleasure. Super impressed. Absolutely. So, and this is somewhat of a provocative question, and I want you to be provoked and then give the answer that you want. You in some way are trying to replace plastic. At least that's what it seemed to me as an illiterate person. How does it feel to actually take on this massive industry that's entrenched our lives so deeply that it finds it hard to be replaced?
Ankur, see, the whole idea behind 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗋 was basically to create an alternative to plastic. So we are not competing with plastic, but we are giving an alternative to the plastic users so that they can use the same infrastructure that they have, and they produce a compostable and a sustainable material using the same machines. And also the larger idea is to connect the biomass that in our country we don't use industrially, connect that all together to the plastic industry. And that will going to benefit a lot of farmers, a lot of growers who are there, who have holding a lot of wasteland that can then be converted into bamboo farms, which can then again will create a kind of carbon sequestering areas and a lot of land erosion. A lot of government is doing a lot of work in terms of riverbed bamboo plantations and all. So, I mean, it will all create a whole ecosystem where plastic can be slowly be replaced by cellulose-based alternatives.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Thank you so much for this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All the best, Anubhav. You heard these stories, and I'm sure that you were just as impressed as I was when I got to know them personally. I would love now to have an opportunity to call upon all 13 innovators that are part of the report by the Marico Innovation Foundation. Please, all of you, step on stage. This is your time to be acknowledged. I would love all of you to walk up on stage.